Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yulia Yakubovich, and I'm from Dnipro. Guys, let me know, please, who is there with us, which regions, which cities. I'm reading your comments right now. Hi. Guys, which cities are here? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Kiev, Okay, only Kiev. Dnipro, Kiev. Okay. Good, guys, tell me, please, can you see me well? Can you hear me well? Oh, Kharkov is here. Okay. Now I'll try to share my screen with you. Let me know if you see the picture. Okay, just a moment. Okay, guys, now, right now I'm showing you the first slide. So is everything okay? Can you see it? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So I think we can start. Guys, now I'm gonna talk and I won't be reading your comments right now. I will read them later. Okay, so today we are going to talk about CCQs, about concept checking questions, yeah? Why to use them, how to make CCQs for grammar, how to make CCQs for vocabulary and functional language. And also we'll come up with some practical tips in the end. Well, why do we use CCQs? Everyone knows that traditionally they are used after introducing new piece of language to check students' understanding. It can be grammar, it can be vocabulary, or any functional language. So we use them to check students' understanding and to check if they understand the new material correctly, yes, and how well they understand it. Another good way to use CCQs is as a correction technique. When you don't want just to tell your students about their mistakes, yeah, but want to make them think and analyze what they have said or written in order to find and correct their mistakes. Also, we can use CCQs just to check how well our students remember the material learned before. Okay, so CCQs highlight the essential meaning of the target language. Yeah? They are efficient and effective because they help teachers avoid just telling the rules to their students, yes, and they help to involve students into the process. They participate actively and they are able to figure out the meaning of the target piece of language, yes, by themselves. They are led by their teacher, but they do it themselves. All this we can do with the help of CCQs. Also, why CCQs are so good? Because they always work. They work with all examples, and they help us avoid such brilliant questions as do you understand, or is it clear? Because quite often students feel shy to tell that they don't understand something. And CCQs can help in this case. You will see if they really understand or if they are just they are not ready to tell that they have problems. Yeah, and of course they help not only to check our students' understanding, but to develop our teaching skills as well. Okay, so with our goals, I think everything's clear. So let's move on to CCQs for grammar. Okay, guys, let's imagine that we have to teach the present continuous for future arrangements. And we have such example. I and my friend are meeting at the cinema on Saturday evening. We arranged it yesterday. And now I'll share my ideas about the CCQs to be asked in this case. Okay, so is it about the present, past, or future? It's about the future. Is it our arrangement? Is it our plan? Yes. Okay. Did we decide now or in the past? In the past. We did it yesterday. And finally, are the time and place decided? Yes. We know where we go, where we meet, sorry, we meet at the cinema, and we know when, on Saturday evening. Okay. Now let's analyze these CCQs a little. So have I used a lot of questions? No. Were these complex and long questions? Again, no. What types of questions have I used? I used alternative questions and yes-no questions. Were they in the logical order? I hope yes. Okay, so how do we make CCQs for grammar? You can see our example. And to teach this piece of grammar, we need to break down the following concept. It's about the future arrangement. Yeah. Both I and my friend know about it. So it's our plan, yes, our arrangement. We decided it yesterday, so it's not on the spot decision. It's not spontaneous. And time and place are decided. We know where we meet and we know when. Then, guys, we just need to turn our statements into questions. I won't read them again. We have already discussed them, and you can see them on screen now. Okay. Now let me share some practical tips with you. First of all, the concept should be broken down in several statements just to make it easier for students' understanding. Because complex, difficult structures can just confuse them. Then, as we have already seen, we turn our statements into questions, and we have great CCQs, ready CCQs, yeah? Okay, then, of course, we need to use simple language, again, not to confuse our students, even with higher levels, I think it's better to avoid complex structures. Of course, we shouldn't, not even shouldn't, we mustn't use the new target language in CCQs, where we won't be able to check if our students really understand it. Also, do not add any unfamiliar vocabulary or any new language to CCQs. It may confuse your students, yeah? Okay. Of course, we need to put our questions in logical order, because if you keep jumping from one aspect to another, they may just get lost. They won't understand the concept clearly, yeah? We can ask different types of questions. We can ask yes-no questions. We can ask alternative either-or questions. We can ask simple WH questions, so any questions that you find appropriate. And if students make mistakes, if they answer incorrectly, don't be shy to correct them. Yeah, we try to encourage our students to answer, yeah, but we shouldn't encourage the incorrect answers. So if they make mistakes, correct them. State the correct answer and provide all the necessary clarification. Okay. Well, guys, let's have a look at some more examples. I've talked quite a lot, and it's your turn now. So I have such example. I'll see him at 10. And I have the following CCQs. Will I see him at 9? No. Will I see him at 5? Again, no. So guys, tell me please, is everything okay with my CCQs? Will such questions work? I think no. Why not? We are supposed to teach will for future, yeah? But my CCQs are they checking the concept of will? They're just useless. Yes, they rather check the understanding of time. And also our target language is included. So these questions won't work because they are not checking the understanding of new grammar. So don't use the same grammar in CCQs. And in this case, we are not checking the understanding of time. But I have one more example for you. I should have told her, and I've come up with such CCQs. Would it have been a good idea if I had decided to tell her? Yes. What might have happened had I told her? We don't know. So again, will these questions be useful? Are they good? Not really. The idea of the first question is generally correct, yes, but it's too complicated. So simpler structures, simpler words will work better. So again, guys, the language is too complicated and simpler language is needed. Okay, I think we can finish with this stage. And let's move on to CCQs for vocabulary. So, but before we go on, I'd like to remind you that all the new vocabulary must be presented from the context. Otherwise, how can our students figure out the meaning of the words. Yes, how can they guess the meaning if the words are given just out of context? So let's imagine that we've just read some text or watched a video, listened to an audio or something. And now we need to check the meaning of some words, the understanding, students' understanding of these words. So please, I have such example. He was boiling with rage. And I decided to ask such CCQs. Was he calm? No. Was he really angry? Yes. Okay. So let's look at my questions and analyze them. Okay. Again, have I used a lot of questions? No. Were these questions complex? Were they long? Again, no. Were they in the logical order? Yes. Okay. So how to make CCQs for vocabulary? You can see our example on screen, and the first thing we need to do is to check the definition of the word, yes, and just split it into several statements. He wasn't calm, yeah, and he was really angry. Then, the same as with the CCQs for grammar, we need to turn our statements into questions. Okay, I won't repeat them. We have discussed them, yes, so you can just see them on screen. Okay, so let's move on to some practical tips maybe. Okay, so first of all, I'll repeat it one more time. Take the words from the context only, or your students will be unable to understand the meaning of the words. Yes. Then, I think it's a good idea to check the definition with the dictionary. Of course, it depends on the word, yes, on level, but there may be some meanings you don't remember, for example, and you may be lucky to have students who know all the awkward words, all the meanings, so just be ready. Okay, then we break up this meaning into several statements just to make it more comfortable for our students, yes, for their understanding. And we turn them into questions. Again, guys, keep it simple, yes? Don't forget to use simple language, simple structures. Okay. Then, as the same as with grammar, don't use the new target language in CCQs, yes? Ask any types of questions that you find necessary, that you find appropriate in this situation. And of course, correct your students if they make mistakes. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's practice a little. I have some more examples for you. Imagine that we need to check the understanding of the word hedge. And we use the following CCQs. Is it really a hedge? Yes. How do you know? Good question, yeah? I use my sixth feeling. Okay, so what's wrong with these questions? Are they checking anything? No. These questions are just too philosophical and they aren't checking students' understanding, yeah, of the target word. I mean, so they are not checking understanding. And I have one more example, guys. Wardrobe. And we have such CCQs. Is it a chest of drawers? No. Is there one in your house? No, or maybe yes. Are these ones? Oh, something went wrong. Sorry. Okay. Um, what's wrong with them? First of all, there is no relationship between the two items. Yeah. These questions do not check the understanding of the words. Also, it can be useful sometimes, yes, to check the meaning on contrast, to show students that a wardrobe is not a chest of drawers. But about the second one, how can the teacher know if his or her students have or don't have one in their house? Yes, maybe students get the meaning of the word right and they answer that they really have one, or maybe they just don't understand the word and prefer to say no. So my beautiful questions don't check the understanding. Okay. So as you can see, they won't be useful. And I think we can finish with vocabulary. And let's talk a little about functional language. So CCQs for functional language. Let's imagine that we are teaching polite requests and we have an example sentence like this. Don't you mind opening the window? So, as usually, we need to break down the concept. Yes, in this case, it's a polite request. The main idea is that it's request and it's polite. So traditionally, we break our statements into questions. Turn them into questions. So is it an order or a request? It's a request. Okay, is it impolite or polite? It's polite. Okay, guys, I think everything is clear here. So maybe let's sum up. So first of all, here we have some golden rules or tips, yes, for CCQs. Plan your CCQs in advance and write down the answers. Because even if you work with lower levels, even if the topic is easy, unfortunately, sometimes something can go wrong at the lesson, yeah? You can be distracted or you can be interrupted by your students. As a result, you can forget about something essential and prepared in advance questions can just come in handy. As for me, it works. Okay, then sorry to be boring, but I'll repeat it one more time. The concept of the target language should not even should must be broken down into several statements in order not to confuse our students and make it easier for their understanding, make it more comfortable for them. The next step is obvious, yes, I've told it several times, that we turn them into questions. And you don't need to invent anything, you've already got nice CCQs. Okay, then keep it simple. Yeah, be sure to use simple words, simple structures in your questions if you don't want your students to feel puzzled and confused. Of course, you can use any additional material. You can use pictures, realia, miming. You can draw something on the whiteboard. Yes, you can use timelines to help you. Anything that can be useful together with the CCQs. Um, what about CCQs? Usually we ask the whole class, yes, or maybe I usually ask the whole class. But we can direct our CCQs to specific students as well, because when you are while asking CCQs, we usually look at our students, yes. And if you see, you can ask some specific students, maybe stronger students, to help you, or if you see that that somebody, yes, in your class, they don't look confident, yes, or you have any doubts about if they understand it, you can ask them. Okay, but of course, CCQs are our friends. They always work, but don't be over enthusiastic about them. If your presentation is like overloaded with CCQs, it can become boring for students. Or if you ask some really obvious things that they know for sure, that can just think that you suppose they are stupid. So don't ask too many CCQs. Okay. So guys, as you have noticed, I think a lot of examples and ideas were taken from this great book, Concept Questions and Timelines by Workman. I want just to remind you that you can find this book on our A drive. Yeah, it can be really useful if you need any ideas, if you have forgotten something, or if you just want to check something. Okay, so thank you for your attention, and maybe you have questions. Just a moment, I'll read your comments now. Okay, just a moment. Uh-huh. And where are the comments? I don't see anything. Here they are. Okay, too complicated, useless, not really. How to correct in a proper way? You mean how to correct students? As for me, we just analyze the sentence or the words in context of sentence or text. I just give them the correct answer and explain why it is correct and why their idea is not really good. They are useless software. Good. See you here. Okay, guys. Maybe any more questions? No, nothing. No, yeah. Okay, then thank you for your attention. Sorry, my voice, I'm a bit ill. Okay, have a nice day. Those of you who have lessons, have great lessons. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Bye.